This is the TwoSun TS16 in M390. For me, honestly, this is a Grail knife. And it comes in at an amazing price. Before we talk more about it though, let's do some size comparisons first. For this, I generally use the Sencut Sachse as well as the Civivi Elementum 2 because they are very affordable knives that do a lot of things well, and that's why I think they're pretty well known. I'll give you a proper close-up, but you'll see that the TS16 is a pretty big knife. At the same time, it manages to have the presence of a big knife while it handles like a smaller knife. TwoSun is going up in their number of models, and by now we are above 500. So when hearing TS16, you might think that it's an older knife, and indeed it is older, but not as old. TwoSun likes to re-release their older models with newer materials. So same goes for this. There is a D2 blade and G10 version. Then in between we had a D2 blade with these beautiful titanium scales. And now finally we have this version, which is the M390 blade with the titanium scales. Access to the lock bar is very, very easy. And if you're using your index finger to close it, you can do so very fast and easy. If you want to drop it shut or shake it shut, you have to close it a bit further, let the flipper tab drop, and then you can shake it shut. It flies open easily, not in a way that feels unsafe. So there is just a little bit of movement when you're hitting the flipper tab, and you don't have to use too much force to get it out. But it still flips open easily, and it's pretty hard to fail it. You have some chimping there. Not sure if it would be needed, but it's a nice to have here. The blade itself is a night-morning design, and I have to say I'm a fan. It's the first, but definitely not the last night-morning we'll take a look on this channel. Please subscribe if you want to see that, because there's a lot coming up. Going around it, it's a full titanium scale frame lock. And we have a lot of milling, which makes it light and have this skeletonized look, which continues on the blade. On the blade itself, it's a bit of a dust catcher. It's really hard for me to nitpick on this knife, but if I had to, I would say that they could have updated the Night Morning design logo at some point, because the designer did too, as you can see on some of the newer models. They could have replaced the file at some point, but you know, that's nitpicking on a very high level. The pocket clip is pretty small for such a big one, but I have to say it works well. It doesn't get stuck and it wants to go in, but while we have it closed, honestly I just have to marvel, because look at the spaces. It's a beautiful piece of engineering. The tolerances on this are just insane. It's a marvel. The action came pretty same out of the box. It runs on ball bearings and you can feel it. As most TwoSuns, they come pretty oily, but not always necessarily in all the right places. So they just do that to preserve their blades, and it's good because they can sit in their boxes for some years, same as this one. So generally I end up oiling the bearings a little bit to improve the action, and it worked out nice on this one as well. You have this full titanium backspacer, which makes the blade safe, so there is no way to touch it. Also on the bottom. Last but not least, let's talk about pricing. If you want this knife, you will have to bid for it on eBay, and this is with a lot of TwoSuns. I don't mind, because you have to be alert, yes, but you can get incredible knives for incredible prices. More often than not, I can see this one, the TS16, under 100 bucks, and this is just a steal. Honestly, from most other manufacturers, I would say even something Chinese like WeKnife, it would probably cost $200 plus. I paid above $100 for that, but I also have an anecdote here. I was bidding for it more than once, and once I almost got it for, let's say, 70 to 80 bucks, but I was traveling at that time. And actually, just in the last 20 seconds of the bidding, the train went into a tunnel and my bid did not go through. That made me so angry that I put multiple alarms for the next time the blade would go up, that I could really get it. So I paid a bit more, I think under 120 bucks, but it's still more than worth it. Honestly, this is a TwoSun Grail knife. Also, I have to say, I don't know yet how well of a job TwoSun does on the M390. So if you have any experiences with that, please share in the comments below. But I guess even if they do a mediocre job, it should beat some budget steals. So I cannot complain on this. That was a quick look at the TwoSun TS16 in the M390 version. This one has it all for me. So if you're looking for a premium knife experience for a price which makes you actually not afraid to use your premium knife, this is the one. At least it was for me, and it spoke to me. I'm glad to have it in my collection and to carry it. Honestly, one of my favorite TwoSuns, but definitely not the last we'll take a look at on this channel. If you're interested in that, please subscribe. I'm a crazy knife collector and love to share blades that speak to me. Thank you very much. Just enjoy the sounds 1 or 2 more times and see you in the next one.